Hello, my name is Daniel Guillen and I am a second year political science major.
Hi, my name is Stephanie and I'm first year and I'm a political science major as well. So for our question we have, why do civil wars tend to be concentrated in particular parts of the world?
So, based off of our question, we were able to come up with the assumption that certain factors and variables, when triggered, they increase the possibility of conflict between two groups, with the aim of one side being to take control, achieve independence, or change a governmental policy.
So for our theory, with the given statistics from our articles, we can see civil wars are influenced and predominant if there happens to be a change in resources and failure of cooperation with each other.
Through our process, we were able to come up with our hypothesis, which is that states with a large population of refugees and poverty, there will be tensions that can increase and lead to a civil war.
For my article, I used Refugees and Civil Wars by Ideen. When looking at the articles, I tried to find evidence that will support our theory. The articles that we used to collect data came from various sources, for example, Google Scholars or the database. For example, factors like greed, grievances, and territory were problems that refugees caused when they came to new territories. Going to a new territory would lead to a conflict, especially if they were low in resources or if it felt like a threat to their community. For example, going against a religion or government. You may ask why poverty is a bigger factor compared to the rest of the factors. Poverty and education have a correlation where public society is based on culture and intuition instead of government rules. For common factors are ethnic groups along with resources. In the article, it claims three main points. First, that it might oppose to their adversary beliefs and influence insurgents or to the public of their own ethics. The second point is that refugees have the capability to engage in battle while having the expedient resources and initiative. Third, the point has to do with the amount of refugees that have a negative effect on the overall population. In relationship to civil war, I am under the impression that being a democratic country or having some structure of democracy can decrease the probability of there being conflict.
The data that I used for our research came from The Root Causes of Sudan's Civil War by Douglas H. Johnson, which was originally from the book that he wrote himself. It is about Sudan's post-independence and how it has been dominated by long recurring bloody civil wars. Civil wars occurred in Sudan because of an old division between Arabs and Africans or the colonial constructed inequalities. The recurring civil wars that have happened in Sudan are due to regional and international factors like humanitarian aid, oil revenue, and terrorist organizations which lead to violence. Humanitarian aid is material and logistic assistance to those people in need. Humanitarian crises are natural disasters and also man-made disasters. When there is humanitarian aid and the government is not willing to help out, it triggers those people to go with the use of violence, especially in a desperate time of need. This is a form of commitment problem because it is the job of the government to make sure that policies are arranged in order to help out those who live there. If there is no help in those who are suffering because of a lack of aid, then they will remain in poverty, eventually getting tired of it and taking matters into their own hands. Also, when the people are not being helped out, they move to other states and become refugees. When they become refugees and move to a neighboring state, then that state will eventually be overpopulated and will continue to increase the lack of resources. And when people are in need and desperate, they will start acting, and usually it is with violence. And this all builds up to a civil war.
This all builds up and leads to our conclusion that countries that have a variety of factors that lead to poverty and refugees are where civil wars tend to be concentrated in. Although refugees and poverty may lead to civil wars, there are still more things that build up tensions between two opposing groups that lead to a lot of people suffering and dying without even having nothing to do with the situation.
Overall, our article is Refugee and the Spread of Civil War and the Root Causes of Sudan's Civil War help support our claim and which show how actions from the government and the opposing group build up slowly, but when they reach a certain point, violence erupts, and it will not stop until one of the groups takes a victory. Civil wars have fluctuated in the past, but there was a time period in which civil wars increased severely, which were between the years of 1974 and 1985. After that, the civil wars started to decrease, but have not stopped completely. Civil wars will continue to happen due to the rise of tensions between states because of multiple factors.